frozen East Texas Wi-Fi. There we are. We're up and running. What is going on? A little bit of a burp there. Hey, welcome back to Your Lake Fork Guide. We got a fun top 5 baits live stream tonight because we're giving stuff away. Some sample lure packs from LFT that we discussed in the last seminar. The last time, we're going to give these away tonight. I'm going to give something else away tonight that I'm going to hold secret for just a minute. I want everybody to be gathered in when we announce it. We got giveaways tonight. We got your best 5 baits for fishing these freezing cold temperatures that we've had lately on Lake Fork. And yeah, we're going to have a good time. So as you guys get in, drop me some comments. Let me know that you are here. I would greatly appreciate that. Let me make sure that I'm up and running and functional. See what we got going on here. Oh, YouTube's got to make their cut. YouTube's got some ad money they got to make real quick. I got to watch the commercial. Man, they demonetize like every video that I do. It's so ridiculous. Hey, here we are. It's not showing me anybody's watching, and I'm sure that you guys are. Wow. Alright, I guess I got to test this thing out. Sorry for the delay here, guys. I've got to drop some comments in here. Man, it's freezing cold tonight. Okay, so apparently I'm the only one watching tonight. Well, if anybody else is out there watching, please let me know. Three watching now. Oh, now, okay, so now it's starting to show up. All right, so there's just, sorry. I'm really sorry, man. I hate these live streams. The first, what have we been going now? A couple minutes. Like the first minute or two can be extremely sketchy. Starting to get some folks here. Starting to get some comments now. So, wow, what a mess. But yeah, hey, fun night tonight, guys. In case you missed it, I don't know if you caught this earlier. Tonight's live stream is a little bit special because we're going to be giving away some sample packs from LFT that we talked about at the last live stream up there. We're going to give those away tonight, announce the winners. And I've got something else that's, you know, pretty big thing that I'm going to be giving away. It's not a big thing, but I guess it depends on your perspective. But we're going to be giving away another really good prize. Hopefully you think it's a really good prize, and we'll announce that here in a little bit. Once we let everybody gather up, keep telling me you're here, guys. I appreciate it. We'll go ahead and start working on our top 5 baits for the week right away. Let's see what we got going on. So first bait's probably going to be obvious. Hey, we just did a Guides Network episode on it yesterday, right? So it should be a fairly obvious one. But the exact jig you guys saw me talking about right there, the black light colored, black and blue and purple flipping jig. That's the Divine Hybrid jig from 6 Cents. That's what I'm fishing in creek channels. That's been my best color. I do alternate the color on this trailer from this electric blue that you see here. Alternate between that and just a regular black with blue flake. That's our number 1 bait. And I'm really, you know, the colder it gets, the deeper the creek channels I'm fishing. So some of these creek channels are bottoming out in 25, 26, 27 feet in the bottom of the channel with at least 20 foot on the top side of the channel. Some even shallower than that. So that's what I'm looking for right now, looking for the deep creek channel bends. Those fish are pulling back into that deeper water, trying to hug up to a root system and stay warm, I guess. So, all right there. Move on to the next bait. Hey, you know, so as cold as it is, you know, the deep fishing to me is your better option. When I'm deep fishing, I'm pretty exclusive to that jig, almost to a flaw because I like it. I like that bite so much. But there is a shallow bite to be had. It is a tough grind of a bite. It's just going to be a few a day, but we do catch some really big fish really shallow in the wintertime. What up, Chris Powell? I see you there, buddy. I appreciate you joining us. On reaction baits. I will say that when the water gets as cold as it has gotten now, you're not going to catch them on plastics. Plastics get to be kind of a waste of time. Even the old trusty wacky worm gets to be tough to get a bite on because that plastic, when the water's this cold, will actually stiffen up and not have the right action. But chatterbait, good reaction bite. No matter how cold it gets, water can get into the upper 30s, and I still catch good fish on a chatterbait in the cold time of year. Lipless crankbait, same thing. No matter how cold it gets, I really like that 1/4 ounce one because I can go extremely slow and it doesn't get nearly as caught up in the grass as the heavier models. So the 1/4 ounce rattle trap is something that I throw a bunch if I'm trying to get that reaction bite when we're in this extreme of weather conditions as we've had here lately. You know, I've got this one still in here, the Movement 80X. It's something that when we start getting kind of this cold, I tend to go to the other two. But this bait will surprise you. It doesn't catch a lot of fish, but man, every once in a while that joker will jump up there and catch a big one for you. So you got to watch out for the Movement 80X. Like when we get into this extreme weather, this extreme cold water temps, it's just something that if you want to catch a kicker, you know, if you're in a tournament, you need a bigger bite, pick that thing up. It will surprise you how cold the water they'll still bite it in. Not a big numbers deal with that, though, this time of year. You're not going to catch very many fish. Of course, you're not going to catch a big numbers on anything this time of year, honestly. Sometimes the jig can when you hit it right. But something that we talked about a little bit here lately that I say, you know, it's a weakness of mine. I don't throw very much. But definitely something that's a factor right now is a jerkbait. Suspending jerkbaits, that's the 6 Sense Provoke 106. Limit's got a new snatch jerkbait that they're selling, and it is a really good jerkbait as well. This color right here, I know it's not showing up on that camera very well, that's called Ghost Clown from 6 Sense. It's just like a faded and translucent version of a clown color. That's been by far my best color on Lake Fork and really all over East Texas on jerkbaits. The little success that I've had on jerkbaits have come on that one right there. All right. Looks like we're starting to get a couple more folks watching, but we don't have nearly is it not Thursday night? It's Thursday night, right? We don't have nearly the number of people watching as we normally do. Oh, we're starting to get a couple questions. By the way, guys, if you have questions, please ask them. I will answer every single question that I can. Do I have any tips for Rayburn in the next week? College FLW tournament next weekend. Last year, about this time, caught him good on a white chatterbait. So you can forget last year at this time. Go ahead and throw that out the window. It's been so cold. It's a completely, everyone froze, right? It's a completely different situation this year than last year. So, you know, last year we were smoking them on white chatterbaits at this time of year on Fork too. You can catch some fish, but it's not something I'd want my tournament to depend on because you might not get 5 bites when you're doing that shallow reaction deal right now because of how cold it is. How cold the water is. For me on Rayburn, I would be looking for a place to throw a football jig offshore or the creek channel deal. Rayburn's an older lake, so it's hard. The older the lake gets, the harder it gets to find those creek channel bends with the good ledges on the outside of them. But I'd be looking for a way to fish a jig. I'll just say that. I'd be looking for some offshore stuff for a football jig. A lot of giant fish get caught in cold water on Rayburn on a football jig, and I'd be looking for some creek channel bends to put a flipping jig in. I would really try to dial in some type of a jig bite if I was going to fish a tournament on Rayburn in the next week or two. Of course, lipless crankbaits, chatterbaits are always a factor on Rayburn. You can go pop you a couple heads doing that. It's the safe play, but if I was fishing a tournament, when I fish tournaments, I like to try and fish to win. And you know, if I'd rather finish last than second, just my personal opinion. But you know, I would probably go for the jig deal right now this time of year down there. So, all right. Any more questions? You guys pop the questions in. Short crowd tonight, small crowd tonight. It's going to be kind of hard to give some of this stuff away. Hopefully there's one viewer that's watching tonight, because one of the things we're going to give away, I'll go ahead and announce it now. Tonight we're going to give away the second version of the Viewer Appreciation Award, which is not much of an award because you have to go fishing with me for a day. So it's almost a punishment. So this is the Viewer Appreciation Punishment. And before I announce who it is, I want to let all you guys know that, man, I see you out there. I see a lot of you guys. Scott Davis, Larry Sackett, I'm trying to name some guys that I know just comment all the time and share. And I want to get to all of you, but we're just doing one at a time every once in a while. It's just all the schedule allows for. But today, we got a guy that he doesn't necessarily always comment and share the post, but I know what he does to spread the word about the channel because I know him through another person. And on top of that, he reached out to me and made a phone call, an encouraging phone call at a time when he had heard some things and knew that I needed it. So I wanted to tell him thank you. So Kelly Nutt, if you're watching, brother, you got the next Customer Appreciation Award. Kelly Nutt's a subscriber, a viewer. He views us on YouTube and Facebook. Very loyal follower, and I really appreciate you guys that do it. I'm going to try and show you that every chance I get. So Kelly Nutt, contact me. You know my phone number. Give me a text. Give me a call. And I will get you set up. We'll get the schedule set up for me and you to do a day for free on the water. We'll film an episode together and do a viewer appreciation. So thanks, Kelly. We appreciate you being part of the community. All right. So I guess the next thing is we got to give some of these away, right? See these things? Little sample packs. We got some lures in here. Looks like we got some information on the NewTek stuff. We got some jigs, all kinds of stuff in these. So these are sample packs from back when we did the live stream with the guy from NewTek, Bo James, I think his name was. So what I need you guys to do is I need y'all to give me a number. I need y'all to pick a number 1 through 35. Pick me a number. At your leisure. I mean, we got all night. I can sit here and let you guys watch me all night. I don't mind. Now, somebody throw me a number 1 through 35. Okay, I see. There's a delay. My bad. I don't mean to rush you, but there's a delay. Hey, Lane Kennedy, we appreciate it, buddy. Glad you like the tips. 27. 27. I think that is 27, right? That's what that is in Texicanese. All right, let me go back to this page. Go down here. Let's see. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Roy Wise. You are the 27th comment. 27th comment on the live stream where we announced the giveaway on these last Friday. So Roy Wise, if you will text me your address, I will ship one of these sample packs to your door. My number is 903-519-1542. Let's see who the next two are. 13. Let's go to 13. Here we go. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, man, that's awesome. Because this guy's been watching the channel like almost from day one. So Big Kahuna in Bama. Same deal, buddy. Text me your address, and I will get these shipped out to your door. Appreciate you very much. I know you've been here for a long time. So Big Kahuna in Bama, holler at your boy. Oh, and look, this number just popped up. There was other numbers that popped up in front of it, but this was my favorite number when I played Little League Baseball. So we're going to use this number, number 7. All right, so let's get number 7 lined up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gung Ho. Mr. Gung Ho, very active follower as well. Holler at your boy. Send me a text with your address, and we will get this sample sent to your door. Can't say thanks enough, guys. I know not a lot of discussion tonight. I don't think many people are fishing this week. I think maybe that's why we have less viewers. Nobody wants to go out and ice fish in Texas. I was really actually kind of disappointed because Wednesday morning after we had like 2 straight days where it never got above freezing, I actually really wanted to go film for you guys so I could get like whole parts of creeks that were frozen and stuff like that on camera. But unfortunately I had some business to take care of off the water that wouldn't let me get out. But I did drive across some of the bridges that day. And if you're familiar with Lake Fork and you know what the area behind Williams Creek Bridge looks like, the area that's the back area of Williams Creek that's behind the bridge, I would say that about 80% of that was ice. That's a pretty big area, dude. It was crazy. Brett Rand's got all his tackle on the kitchen table. We got a blizzard in Pennsylvania. This is what's beautiful, man. We got bass fishing fans from across the country chilling on a Thursday night talking about fishing. That's what's awesome. YouTube, can be, you know, kind of an evil thing in some ways. Social media can be kind of an evil thing in some ways, but man, if you use it correctly and think about what it can do, it's a beautiful thing. That's just awesome to me to sit here and comprehend that I'm talking bass fishing on Thursday night with some guy from Pennsylvania. I mean, that's freaking crazy. How long was the process to make the chip? Man, for an old country hillbilly like me to get the format right to where it would upload in different types of graphs, and actually we're still working on Garmin. We just got the Lowrance and Humminbird figured out. But to make the file formats correct and to make sure that everything was downloadable and readable and comprehensible and function the way it did for, you know, a little bit of a simpleton like myself, it took a pretty long time, to be honest with you. So. It was something that was originally thought of way back in like springtime. So I've been working on it for, you know, almost a year, honestly. All right, if anybody else has got any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Mike McDaniel says, I fish every day. I've caught one fish since Thursday. I love you, Mike McDaniel. That's my man right there. I love it. That is awesome, buddy. Hey, that's what it's all about, man. That kind of commitment, that kind of love for the game. That's what it's all about. So I promise you, if I didn't have to have stuff that I had to do off the water with, you know, the release of this new product, and if you go look at my website, guys, yourlakeforkguy.com, and you go to the Shop My Gear tab, and you look at the store that's on there, I actually built that myself. I literally, for like days on end, took me to figure out how to build that thing. So, hey, it's done. It's up and running now. It's functional. Oh, by the way, new announcement. We do have the rods that I fish with and some limited amounts of some of the gear and tackle that I use on a day-in, day-out basis is available for purchase on yourlakeforkguy.com. So if you guys want to buy gear directly from me and you want to know that it's the exact model that I use, check out my website and buy that product. See, what swim bait would you throw this time of year? This time of year, I would probably be throwing some of the hard baits, the glide baits. Glide baits would be my chosen thing to go to. You know, kind of in the same areas that you'd throw a suspending jerk bait is where I would throw a glide bait and fish it very slow as well. Let me see here. Medium heavy for swim bait fishing. I do like a medium heavy on the glide baits. The smaller glide baits. Some of them are so heavy you need a heavy or extra heavy rod. Most of my swim bait fishing is done with a 711 extra heavy Limit 5 series. My glide baits I throw on a 711 medium heavy for some of my smaller or average size glide baits. The big ones, excuse me, I still use the extra heavy rod. So, what are some graphing tips? What depth ranges to start in? Start at mouths of creeks and work back. I'm not really sure that I completely understand your question. What are some? Do you start at the mouth? Depth ranges start. So right now, you know, when you're fishing the creek channel bends like I am, it's so cluttered and crowded with cover that I don't actually look for fish. That's what my deep fishing right now is, in these deep creek channels. I'm not actually looking to identify fish. You know, fortunately, I spend a lot of time on the water. I've got my sonar tuned in to a level that I'm very confident in, and I can at times pick out fish arches down in that creek channel cover. But for the most part, the creeks that I'm looking at, I want so much cover, so much timber, so much root systems that I'm not really going to be able to see individual arches because they're going to be hugged up right in there on it. And so you won't actually see them on your graph as far as fish arches go. But what I'm looking for as far as an area is, right now, I want the bottom of that creek channel to be at least 20 foot or deeper. I'm really looking in the deeper bends, 25, 26, 27 foot in the bottom of the creek channel, 20 foot on the top side. Some of them are a little shallower than that, and that's fine because they're hanging off the side of that bluff wall. As long as I have at least a 4 or 5 foot drop and the bottom's in 25 foot, I'm good. Those fish have water in the bottoms of the creeks, and start fishing. If you see heavy timber, you got a good drop, you got the right depth, man, just start fishing. It's a slow, methodical process, but it's a way that's paid off in some big-time home runs over the years for a lot of people. Thoughts on fishing deep? Again, I just kind of covered that. That's my deep fishing right now. That's how I'm doing it. So, I have the want but lack the courage. Man, ain't nobody gonna be mad at you for that this time. You do. This is probably the second coldest stretch that I can remember since I moved back to Texas after I got out of the Marine Corps. I think back in like 2010 or maybe it was 11. I don't know. We had 3 days where it never got above freezing, and this was really close to that. This was 2 days that never got above freezing, and the third day was like 33, so or 35 or something. It was really close, but either way, man, it's been brutally cold. So, all right, let's see. Hey, Brett Wren, I know that you have booked trips with me in the past. Brother, if you're wanting to get any spring fishing done with me, you need to call me. By the way, if you guys are wanting to book, if anybody out there is wanting to book trips with me for March, you need to call me really soon and get your day picked, because we've got about, I think it's either 6 or 7 days left in the whole month of March that are available. So if you're wanting a March trip, call soon. And even April is starting to get booked. So even April, you might want to think about getting that booked here in the next month or so. I have a high school tourney on Palestine February this year. What do you think will be key baits and style of fishing there for that time of year? Palestine is, in a lot of ways, I mean, I'm not like, a Palestine legend or nothing. I haven't fished there enough to be, but Palestine is very much in my wheelhouse. Lot of expansive shallow water areas with a variety of grasses. So here's what I'm going to tell you about that. You're going to have to deal with trends. So whatever the trend is at the time, and I'm not talking about just your weather trend. Weather is important to pay attention to, but you have to know what the water temperature trend is. So you need to get out early, establish a starting point on water temperature, and see which way it goes. Because if that water temp has been trending down, Palestine, those areas that hold the biggest fish in the lake, the northern end of the lake, the backwater areas, they hold the biggest fish in that lake. They just do. It's just the way that lake's built. But if it's, cold trending, then it will fish completely different than a warm trend. Those fish, I've actually seen them start spawning on Palestine in late January and in early February on the right trend. I don't see that happening this year because of how cold it is now, but it's Texas. You never know what could happen in a couple weeks. So really pay attention to the trends, the water temperature trends, the weather trends. The moon phases will start to play. As we get on in the second half of January, guys, moon phases become very important going into the spawning cycle. All those type of things, those fish will move more. You'll get more new fish in an area on a full moon and a new moon. So a lot of things to factor in there. But if it's warm trend and I'm thinking they're thinking about spawning or something like that, then hey, I'm going with a couple tools. I'm going with a big bladed spinnerbait is a hammer on Palestine. I mean, an absolute hammer in the pre-spawn to spawn on Palestine. And I want to have some soft plastic stick baits, a smash stick, Texas rigged, to fish weightless on calm, sunny, bright, post-frontal type days on the warm trend. And maybe that buzzbait, that cold water buzzbait bait you guys have heard me talk about, if it's warm trending enough, that can be a factor on that lake. Now, if it's cold trending, I'm going to back out into the middle of those grass areas. I'm going to find the drains. I'm going to find the ditches, find the drop-offs that have a lot of timber, and even some of those underwater bridges out in front of the Kickapoo Creek area. The all-time record on that lake for the lake record, and the biggest bag that ever been weighed in was caught off of one of those bridges during cold trends. I believe it was January, maybe February, but I think it was January, on a jig. So that jig that we just showed you right here, that is a perfect jig to throw on Lake Palestine if it's a cold trend during January and February. So that was a mouthful. I got way off into it. I got excited because I like that lake in the wintertime. But there you go. That's how I would do that. Sorry I took so long to explain all that. Ian Ashley said he was the only person on his home lake today. He kind of regrets it, but he caught some fish, so all good. Well, you can't regret it if you caught fish, dog. Brett Wren, I see you down there. Hey, give me a call. We'll get you fixed up, okay? Northeast, would I consider a swim jig a year? Yeah, I do consider a swim jig a year-round bait. I just really favor the chatterbait the cold time of year. I know guys that catch them on a swim jig in cold water. I know it works. For me, I just have so much more confidence, and I just tend to grab the chatterbait so much more often. I don't fault a man for trying the swim jig. I know it can work in the cold. So. All right, this is a very good question. Marvin Curley says, I know you said you were pulling the jig off the ledge and into the stumps, but how far am I working the jig into the creek channel before making another cast? Excellent question, something that I failed to cover in yesterday's video. So I'm going to get that jig past there and drag it up. It's going to be in the roots. It's in the roots. It's in the roots. It's in the roots. I'll feel it fall down into them. Pull it out, it catches another root, it'll fall again. I'll pull it up for a little bit, and when I am 100% sure that I'm out of that root system and in the bottom of the creek channel, I'm done. Reel in, make another cast. So I really try to only fish the jig as long as it's contacting roots and falling off the ledge. Once it's hit that last root and falling down into the bottom of the creek, and I'm sure of that, I don't want to fool with it anymore, because it is solely about getting in those roots, falling down in their face, and getting a reaction. That's all it's about. Lane Seaman, I see you on here. I appreciate you, big dog. Lane's another one that's always commenting on every video. We really appreciate it. Are the rods that I use heavy in my hand? No. If Joseph Leahy's on here, if anybody that's on here that's used my limit rods, please comment. No, they are ultra. Oops, I hit another rod over there because I grabbed the part of the handle turn. No, they are ultra light. This is a 7.4 heavy action, jerk your mama out the bottom of the creek channel broomstick that I use for jig fishing on Lake Fork in heavy cover. And you can see by the way I'm just tossing it around with my fingers, it's very light. Have I fished Brandy Branch? I have fished Brandy Branch. Not a lot. I think I fished it twice this year, once back in the summer and once here pretty recently. But that's where I'm going tomorrow, so don't tell nobody. Yeah, I love Brandy Branch. Great lake, tons of grass. Love it. Michael McDaniel is considering the spoon fishing deep. Spoon fishing is absolutely a very, very viable option right now. Like I said, it is a flaw of mine that I am as addicted to the jig as I am. I should fish other stuff more. Right now, the drop shot out deep, the spoons out deep would probably honestly be your best bet to get bit. I'm just so addicted to that thing and the kind of bite that it can get me every time I get bit on it that I tend to stay with it more than I should. So nothing wrong with spoon fishing. I would imagine that's probably honestly the very best tactic to go get bites right now. J-Laugh says the limit rods are super light, super light. Alrighty. Well, hey, there we go. Hey, we ended up getting a normal crowd in here. Eventually, just, people, fish move slower in the cold, and we all think like fish, everybody that watches this channel, so I guess that we move slow like fish because it took everybody a while to get here tonight. Is the new moon or full moon more important with respect to the spawn? I'm sorry, I kind of rushed it. Is the new moon or full moon more important with respect to the spawn? The full moon will move more fish, in my experience. You will get bigger waves on a full moon than you will on a new moon. Now, of course, the other factors, the daylight period, the water temperature, clarity, blah, 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 blah. There's a million factors when it comes to spawn, but they definitely tend to move in the waves, like the bigger groups of fish tend to move up on those moon cycles, both full and new, and the waves that move on the full moon tend to be bigger. I need to come back down to Hubbard. It's a good challenge. Lane Seaman says, I need to come back to Hubbard because it's a good challenge this time of year. That you are not convincing me to come to Hubbard right now. That does not sound very enticing from the way you're describing it. We got plenty of good challenges right here where I am, brother. All right. So, hey, we're all caught up. Hey, that's our 30 minutes. You guys that won prize packs, please text me your address. Mr. Kelly Nutt, text me, call me, whatever. You got my number, and we'll get it set up for me and you to do a trip sometime in the next month or so, schedules permitting, and we will get that thing filmed and get you on camera for an episode of Your Lake Fork Guide as part of the Viewer Appreciation Award. We will do another one of those in another month or two. So appreciate you guys following the channel. Keep on keeping on. Keep on helping us grow. If you guys saw the Guide and the Graph Map Chip, it's a pretty dynamic product. I highly encourage you to check that out on Your Lake Fork Guide lakefork.com as well. If you fish Lake Fork, it's kind of a must-have, honestly. I mean, it's something that there's nothing else out there like it. So